Hello, hello. Awesome to see you. Oh, good. So many familiar faces that I love, and then some new people. Hi to you guys. Great to see you guys. Thank you guys for joining us today. I love doing this. Oh, and it's very fun. We have one of our alma maters, our original Wisdom Supers. Molly is here. She has been in Wisdom Soup since we started it from way back when. Erin, one of our speaker today, has also been a member coming and going of Wisdom Soup for a long time. But Molly was there literally like when I first started Wisdom Soup eons ago, back when I was like lonely and looking for my people. And she showed up and she's like, I'm your people. So yeah. So anyway, so great to have you guys here. So we have a great speaker for you today, which I'm really excited about. A lot of the things we try to cover here on Wisdom Soup is things that you can take away and use for yourself. This is we try to cover new ideas, things that are going to be expanding your mind, expanding your perception, and expanding your toolkit. And the reason we call it Wisdom Soup is because the idea is that everybody has their own internal wisdom. And so the idea is to be open-minded, to expose yourself to different ideas, different concepts, and then to see what resonates for you, because everyone gets to make their own soup. So sort of like you make the soup out of whatever's in the fridge, whatever sounds good to you, you get to make your own soup. So it's really about trying to be open and learn new things, because this journey is always, we're never done. There's always more that we can learn, and there's so much we can learn from each other. So many of the speakers we have here on Wisdom Soup are members of our own community who have amazing skills to share or wisdom to share. So today's speaker is exactly one of those people. So she's somebody I have known for some time now. So she's been with me in several retreats, and we've done quite a bit of work together. And I've loved getting to know her. So she integrates many diverse modalities to empower individuals on their personal journeys by fostering a profound connection with their higher mind. She helps clients release and transform emotional blocks and facilitates gentle, sustainable changes. Her approach supports discovering your life purpose and nurturing spiritual reconnection. So, and I know her as a spiritual seeker, as someone who is willing to dive in and really explore the depths. I think there isn't much that could scare Erin. So let me go ahead and introduce you to Erin. Erin, if I could spotlight you. All right. Welcome, Erin. It's great to have you with us. And today, Erin is going to be sharing with us one of her modalities, which is hypnotherapy, and giving us some tools that we can use on our own journeys.
Great. Thank you, Anne. And oh, if I could have the ability to share, that would be lovely.
Got it. Uh, just a second here. Wendy, can you figure that out from where you are? Because I have her on spotlight. I think I have to remove the spotlight and then do it. I'm going to remove spotlight, get you to share. Hold on. And let's see. I don't see the option to make her a co-host. Do you, Wendy?
I'll take care of that.
Okay, you
Yeah.
got it? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Well, maybe while that's getting worked out, I just wanted to share a moment of gratitude for everyone that's here today and watching, and who will be watching later, and for Wendy and Kira and their coordination, and for Anne for having me on, of course. But as she mentioned, I've been lucky enough to attend Soul Convergence, some retreats. I'm halfway through the gift activation program. COVID kind of stopped me, but after this, I'm going to dive back in. But even just getting halfway through, there is such a difference in my work. I was redoing my free recording because I wanted it to align with what we're going to learn today. And I was doing my final edits, and I thought, actually, a thought came to me of just listen. And so I closed my eyes and I followed along. And I was about halfway through, and the work part of me started saying, you should open your eyes and make sure that the tracks are aligning. And I couldn't, or I didn't want to for that. Like, I wasn't willing to stop the session to check the track. And that is such a huge amount of release for me, and letting go of, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's great. It's working. That's enough. Just enjoy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Anne, for your work and what you bring to your community and to us as healers.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you.
much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And let's see if I can share now. I can. Okay. So welcome to Hypnotherapy, Science and Spirituality. As Anne said, I'm Erin O'Sullivan, and I am a functional medicine health coach, a Reiki practitioner, and a certified hypnotherapist. And what was I going to say? Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Okay, so I'm trained in the Simpson protocol, and I just completed a really interesting training on hypnosis for trauma and PTSD. So my educational background is actually in IT, but that was not my plan, apparently. My most important role has been having a spiritual contract with my daughter with autism, and being her advocate, raising her has been a catalyst for personal growth. It just undefinable. It's been amazing. But fast forward about 2 decades, and here I am, and wanting to do something for myself and something that I'm passionate about. And so logically, I'm thinking I should go back to IT, but I am pulled towards counseling and hypnotherapy, and I went ahead and talked to an Akashic Records practitioner that I have a lot of faith in. I've got a lot of good answers from her. And she said with this laugh that I will never forget, "You could, but what a waste." And I think of that anytime I think, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? And I just remember, well, her laughter and how beautiful it is and fulfilling to be in service. So what we're going to talk about today is what is hypnotherapy and what it's not, just a little bit. How to prepare for a session, and signs that you may be gifted with hypnosis. And then we're going to spend time teaching you self-hypnosis techniques so that you can get started at home. Okay, what hypnotherapy is not. It's not an inactive form of therapy. This isn't a time where you can come and lay down and have a nice nap and someone else is going to do the work for you. It's an active collaboration between you and your practitioner, and your desire and commitment is absolutely the key to the success of these sessions. Another thing that it's not is stage hypnosis or hypnotainment. Audience members there, they've been pre-screened and cherry-picked for suggestibility and compliance. It's used solely for the viewer's amusements, and the effect is over after the show. And I really have no judgment on that. That's fantastic, except that it's a source of apprehension for people who are seeking hypnotherapy. I've had this conversation with clients more than I expected to, that I'm not going to make them squawk like a chicken or do something silly, that this is not what I'm here for. I'm here to help you heal. And nothing happens in these sessions that you aren't in control of. So you always are in control. So hypnotherapy is an intertwining of traditional wisdom with scientific exploration. It changes your state of awareness and lets you get into a deep relaxation that allows for improved focus, concentration, and divine connection. So a little bit of history. I had to pull this back because I started writing this and then it would have been hours. So just a little bit of history. It's been used for centuries, and the use of hypnotic states feature in many cultures throughout the ages. And these states were reached with guidance from shamans and spiritual leaders to help people connect with their gods for healings, and sometimes just to simply get some sleep. So in the picture here is Hypnos, the Greek god of sleep, and he would fly across the land, and the wings that he has there would fan the foreheads of the weary so that they could rest. It's a beautiful story. The first written records go back to Egypt's Old Kingdom in the 3rd century. So think of when the pyramids were going up, that long ago. And Greek and Egyptian history both talk about sleep temples where people would come to connect with their gods for healings. And these temples were sensory delights. They would have incense, soft music, candlelight, practitioners muttering those repetitive prayers to help them reach that connection and sometimes just finally get some sleep. So I'm mentioning Dr. James Braid because he is considered the father of modern hypnosis. And he brought hypnosis into a science-based field. And he's also the creator of the eye fixation technique that I'm going to teach you today. So you've probably all heard this quote, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And if it isn't from a mantra or self-help, it might be from John Lennon's 1980 song, Beautiful Boy, because he took this and used this in his lyrics. But it was coined by Emile Coué, and he was the creator of conscious auto-suggestion, which is kind of like today's mantras. So he used this or created this because he didn't like that when his clients couldn't get down into a trance, that they considered it a failure. And so then building on their illness or their inability to move past something. So he moved away from trances and worked with the more awake state of mind with these mantras. Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. And he would prescribe this to people to say it 20 times when they woke up, 20 times before they went to bed. And I actually use these when I'm traveling. I'm a very nervous traveler. Mine is I travel safely to and from every destination without incident. And it doesn't sound that calm when I first start saying it when I'm on the road, but I just say it over and over until I know it's true and I believe it. And I do travel safely so far, so it works. So this is something that I find fascinating and I'm excited to share this. So hypnosis brainwaves. So brainwaves are patterns of electricity produced by the brain, and they're measured in hertz. So at the beta level, you're looking at, that's where you're doing your auto-suggestion, your mantras, your prayers. Think about, I was raised Catholic, so think about saying the rosary and the repetition of saying it over and over again to that point where the words don't even sound like words anymore, and it's more about getting that connection to that higher self to get that support. And then the alpha waves is where you go in like a light meditation or trance. Probably when you're starting out with this self hypnosis that I'm going to teach you, you're going to get into this area where you're still alert, but you're just so very calm. So down into the theta waves, that's the preferred level for traditional hypnosis. You're very relaxed, you're very dreamy, but you can still answer questions and communicate and have that therapeutic interaction. Down into the delta waves, that's where you get the anesthetic level of hypnosis. In India, they would, before ether and anesthetic, they would have a very intense system of hypnosis where people could receive surgery and not feel it. It's very out of body. And so this is what I find really kind of exciting, is that when you do hypnosis and you are using it to connect to your higher mind, your guidance, your superconscious, your brain waves jump up to the gamma level. So you go from being somewhere between 0.5 and 8 hertz to your brain giving off energy waves around 65. And I love that it's quantifiable, this connection that we're getting in these sessions. Okay, so you're thinking hypnosis could help you on your healing journey. Now what do you do? So how to choose a practitioner. So look for recommendation, referrals, or reviews Interviews like this are great because you're pulled here by somebody that you trust, and chances are, if the person you're listening to is on their show, that they have faith in them. But not just me, like everywhere there's interview. Go on YouTube, there's interviews like all over. Google has great reviews to read if you don't have a referral from a friend or somebody you trust. And I'd say even more important than recommendations or referrals is to find a voice that you connect with, because you're going to be listening to this person a lot for at least 28 days. And even if they don't have the follow-up recordings for you to listen to afterwards, you don't want any distractions while you're in your session. You just want to feel held and comforted. And if there's something about their voice that isn't connecting for you, it's okay to move on. It's okay to keep going until you find that voice. So a lot of hypnotherapists offer free recordings specifically for that, so that you can get comfortable with their voice. A lot of people also schedule discovery calls, or they'll give you a free 20 minutes just to see if there's a rapport, or see if it's something that they actually think that they can help you with. And I would suggest having your questions ready, because a lot of people have a sales spiel ready to go, and your 20 minutes can be up and your questions won't have been answered. So have those questions ready and get them answered in the beginning. So a week before your session, there's things that you can do to prepare to get the most out of it. So really clarify your focus for your session, especially if you're going to do one that has more of a spiritual focus. And getting clear on that, it sends out a beacon to the universe, your guides, to let them know that you're ready to make this change or shift or heal whatever is happening for you. And then listen to self-hypnosis or guided meditation every day. If you get a recording from your practitioner, that's perfect, because your conscious mind and your subconscious mind will become so comfortable with that voice that when it's time for your session, you will just slip right down into that state. Another suggestion would be to eat well. So I'm not suggesting any major changes to your diet at all. Just eat the best version of what you're eating now. Get some daily movement if possible. If you aren't already doing some gentle yoga, just an easy walk, something that's going to help you be more embodied when you get to your session. Know where you're going. If you're going on site to somebody's office, I know this seems obvious, but it's just so helpful to show up to your session as relaxed as possible. And then if you are having an online session, choose your space where you're going to have your session. Make sure that it's free of distractions, and be sure you get all the equipment that your practitioners asked for. So I ask people to have headphones with a microphone so that it's easier for me to hear them when they're answering questions, and then my voice doesn't have to compete with any of the sounds that's happening around them, and it can get just right into their mind. So the day of your session, you want to limit your caffeine intake. And I'm a coffee drinker, so I get that that can be difficult, but maybe try a lighter tea or limit yourself to 1 cup, and really avoid it 2 hours prior to your session. I would also suggest wearing comfortable clothes. Think lounge wear. You don't want anything that's going to pinch or have itchy tags. You really want to just be able to focus on the task at hand. And this sounds a little aggressive, but defend your schedule. At least for me, I know when I decide that I want to do something new, the universe throws roadblocks in my way that I could maybe get someone else to help me with or cover. So really commit that time to yourself. And then after your session, drink plenty of water. We've stirred up a lot of stuff emotionally, and when you stir up stuff emotionally, it affects your physical body. So having that water will help you just clear that out. Allow time for integration. This isn't a good time to go buy a car or sign a document or have an important discussion. You really just want to let yourself relax and get used to this new feeling. And I would suggest keeping your input light-hearted, uplifting, maybe something on Gaia or a rom-com, but this isn't a good night to go home and watch a true crime documentary because you really want to just let that vibe stay high. And now your homework. Listen to a follow-up recording if it's given to you by your practitioner. I like to have somebody listen to something for about 21 days, 28 days, depending on what's happening. And this helps align your spiritual work with your physical body. And it's the work that we do in session is working with your spirit. And it takes a while for your physical body to decide that it also doesn't want to have a pint of Ben and Jerry's at 8 o'clock at night. So having that recording just helps everybody get on board. And another suggestion would be to fix your mindset. Create a mantra for yourself when you're getting mixed messages. So your higher self is going to try and be the loudest voice in your head, but it doesn't always work. So when you're in that moment of decision, get a mantra set for yourself so that you can repeat it over and over again and you can stay on that higher path. And be gentle with yourself. So this didn't all happen in a day or a week. Trauma isn't in the event of what happened. It's in your body and it's in the memory of it. And so this work's going to unfold, and allow yourself that time of imperfection and trial and error, and just keep going. Another thing I would suggest is pay attention to your dreams, because we've opened this lovely connection with your higher self, and you still continue to get input. And so if you can, work with a dream interpreter or get Michael Sheridan's dictionary and just see if you can pick out more messages that help you along your way. And really just trust that the work's in process. It's a lot of times I hear people say that we've created a foundational shift for them. And it takes a while for that to come to fruition. So have trust in yourself and in the work. So this is fun. Do you have the gift of hypnosis? Before I started working with Anne and her work, and then from her I found Michael Sheridan, I didn't realize that hypnosis was a gift. I thought it was just a skill that people learned, and it just happened to come easier to me than some of the other people around me. But now that I know that it's a gift, it actually really makes sense. So one clue would be, how receptive are you to the modality? Do you find yourself really easy? Is it really easy for you to just slip down into trance? Does the work call to you? Do you like the idea of being a guide for people through these sessions where they are a little vulnerable and they are coming to you for this kind of help? And then there's the unintentional experience. So of course, my first practice clients were my children, and they both said to me afterwards, "That's your bedtime story voice." So I didn't realize that I had been hypnotizing my children on a nightly basis. But that also means my voice comes from love. And I did notice that my voice comes from my heart chakra when I'm delivering hypnosis. It's different than the voice that I just talk with. I can physically feel the difference. And then play. I was talking to a friend of mine from like grade school, middle school age, and we would do the silliest things Or at least I thought they were silly. And I think maybe going back to that age is a nice place to kind of see where your skills or gifts are. Everybody would be at my house and I'd be like, hey, let's listen to this recorded meditation. And so there's all these little girls laying around my bedroom going into a lovely, peaceful trance and imagining the sunlight and the feeling as it moves across their body. So, yeah, kind of go back to your core and the things that you were excited about when you were younger. And that can be a really nice guide to what you could be doing now. So, signs in your dreams. I've asterisked the ones that I have experienced just to give you an idea that you don't have to have all of them. So, dreaming of a hypnotist, seeing billboards in your dreams, floating or flying in the air, a car or a motorcycle on a roof, posters, a projector or a screen, a TV or radio station, and TV personalities or a character. And these made a lot of sense to me when I read in Michael Sheridan's dictionary, where most of these come from, that the gift of hypnosis is about projecting your mind onto the other person. And I didn't really agree with that the first time I read that, because I see myself as a guide who helps you connect with your higher self and helps guide you as you do this work. But then when I think about when we go through the induction and the deepening process, there is a moment when I know that you and I are connected with something other than Zoom, that there's this knowing of your mind. And so I think I get it. I get that description. Okay, so you saw that list. You heard my things of how I am thinking that I knew from early on that I was gifted with hypnosis. Now what do you do? So I would suggest starting with the basics. So this is a really great book to start with from Roy Hunter, and it just really covers the basic techniques for hypnosis. And I have found that when I have gone and had some of the more boutique sort of sessions, that I can see what we're doing. Oh, great. Here's the induction. We're doing the deepener. Oh, I see what they're doing. It's parts therapy. And so it is used over and over to create these new types of hypnosis. So it's the building block that a lot of these things are built on. So if you know that, if you know those techniques, it really helps you grow. So YouTube is a really great place to get an idea of how to craft your voice, what you want it to hear, what you want it to sound like, and what you don't want it to sound like. There are so many great hypnotists and hypnotherapists recording and just having so many videos out there for free to listen to. When you're choosing a training program, look for one that is open about their program information, that you get an idea of what you're going to learn. There are a few out there that I looked into that they want a lot of money without telling you a lot of information before you sign up. So at the very least, ask for a sample session. And most of the places that I have asked for a sample session, it's a very reasonable trade of either that you pay for the session, and then if you sign up for the course, then they'll take that off the cost of the course. But you can learn a lot in that session before you sign up. So one of the special courses that I've taken is the Simpson protocol, and they do a lot of the ideomotor responses. And something that really sold me on that type of hypnosis was when we were going through, and I'm analyzing while I'm in the session. So like I'm trying to make mental notes while I'm having this experience. And there was a question he asked, and my head said no, but the ideomotor response was yes. And so it was, you're really having these sessions really lets you know if, I mean, I think they all work, but if they work for you. So be cautious of absolutes when you're taking courses and they're telling you that this is the only way to do something. I feel like within a year of taking a course, the way you do things should really reflect you, and there should be some room for you to make these systems your own. So that's my opinion. Take it or leave it. So now the fun part. Let's do some self-hypnosis. So every time you do self-hypnosis, you want to do your setup routine. So you want to be in a safe, quiet space, free of distraction. You want to spiritually clear the space in whatever way works for you. So if you're having a session with a practitioner, they should be doing this ahead of time and bringing you into their space. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. But if you're doing this on your own, you want to do that. So set your intention for what you're trying to do in the session. If it's just get to sleep, or you want some clarity on a choice you want to make, whatever that is, get that really clear in your mind. And settle for one per session, because otherwise you might end up getting mixed messages. And also set the intention to return gently when it's done. I haven't ever had a problem coming back out of self-hypnosis, but I've heard that said a lot. So I'm passing that on. Set the intention to gently return. And you want to ground and connect before you get started. And we'll go through a really simple exercise for that. And you want to ask your guidance to be present, because you want to make sure that your guidance is someone that you're comfortable with, that you're connected with, and that's going to work for your highest good. Okay, so for those of you who are in a space where you're safe to close your eyes and relax, I'll walk you through this ground and connect technique, but I have it on the slide in detail so that you can learn it and go through it on your own. Also, in my free recording, I go through an extended version of this. And so if you do that a few times and then you come back and do this is the quickie version, it just goes so fast and it's just a beautiful, great like tethering connection. So, okay, here we go. Start by closing your eyes and imagine a little golden bean that lives just below and behind your belly button. Now imagine this bean has split open and the start of a root and a sprout appears. Take a deep breath in, and in one strong exhale, imagine that root from the golden bean going swiftly down, connecting your sacral and root chakras and going all the way to the center of the earth, taking root, anchoring you to Mother Earth. And then as you inhale deeply, bring all of that rich earth energy back up to you. And then as you gently exhale, imagine that energy staying with you and any excess pooling in your lower belly, just under your belly button. Now take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine the sprout going up through your solar plexus, heart, throat chakra, third eye, and your crown, where your sprout turns into a tree and reaches all the way to the heavens, where it connects you with divine energy. On your next deep breath in, you pull all of the inspiring divine energy down to you. As you exhale, let any of the extra pool in your belly just above your belly button. Another deep breath in, pulling up from the earth. Imagine the earth and divine energy begin to combine, and swirl, and dance together as you exhale. Deep breath in from the heavens, allowing the divine energy to continue the dance with the earth energy, lighting your chakras. One last round. Nice deep breath in from the earth. And exhale. Deep breath in from the divine. And release. I love this exercise and that feeling of being tethered between the heavens and the earth. It feels so supportive as a being with a spirit and an earthly body. So here you are, you're feeling dreamy and connected and supported. And this is where you'll call in your guidance, whatever feels safe and comfortable and that you trust. So looking at the time, I have perhaps more examples than we have time for right now. So this one's on the slide and it's really easy to do on your own. So I'm gonna move past that one to this one, which is really fun for energy workers, which I think there's a lot of in this community. So you would do your prep routine like we just did, and then you clap your hands together, and that snapping noise engages your mind. And now rapidly rub your palms together. And I have my hands up so that you guys can see, but feel free to hold them wherever it's comfortable. And usually you would close your eyes, but if you want to keep your eyes open so that you can see what we're doing, that's great too. So now slowly pull your hands apart about 2 to 3 inches. And if you're an energy worker, you're probably familiar with getting that ball of energy working between your hands. And so just kind of let your hands sway back and forth. And if you're not an energy worker, see if you can feel that ball of energy. Maybe you are and you don't know it. And then start swaying your hands back and forth and feel the energy move back and forth. And you'll find a point where the energy begins to feel magnetic. So if you move your right hand, your left hand's coming with you. And when you get there, the slide says pause, but don't stop, don't pause, keep going. Pause here in a mental sort of way and just enjoy this feeling and focus on it. And then when your eyes are closed, just enjoy that magnetic feeling and kind of follow it with your mind. And you'll get to a point where you're starting to feel that dreamy feeling. And this is where you would engage your guidance and ask to go as deep into hypnosis as you need for this session. And then state your need out loud. And then the work begins. And that'll come in different ways for everybody, but you can get guidance on what you need to see, what you need to experience, and what you need to feel, and just let it flow. Don't try and force it. You can have an idea of where you're going to go, but your higher mind is going to take you where you need to go to get the outcome that you want. Okay, so we're going to stay in this dreaminess, but we're going to move on to the next one. And this is my absolute favorite for self-hypnosis because it's very easy and it's very kind of animal body focused. So it really engages your body as well as your mind. So again, if you're in a spot where you can follow along, that is great. Now I want you to look ahead and choose a spot that you can comfortably look at in front of you. And then take your gaze up a bit above eye level, almost as if you're trying to look at your own eyebrows. Focus on that one spot, putting all of your attention on it. And even though you're staying focused on that one spot, you can still see what's around you without shifting your gaze in your peripheral vision. So you have the ability to sense the space and physical objects behind you as well, without shifting your gaze. And just let yourself feel or sense that. Now you're still looking at that spot, almost as if you're trying to look at your eyebrows. But you might be starting to notice that your eyes are starting to blink more slowly and more often, and that's okay. You might even be feeling as if it's a struggle to keep them open. And right now you can just allow your eyes to close for a bit. And now that your eyes are closed, try to remember or just get a sense of what it was like looking at that spot. And a sense of what was around in your field of vision. And just for a moment, let your eyelids lift and return your focus to that spot again. And then using your imagination, get a sense or a feeling that these heavy eyelids are gently but magnetically drawn to your lower lids. And when they close, you might even imagine that you feel them softly click shut. And if you haven't already, go ahead and let your eyes close again. And just allow your lids to relax completely with those little imaginary magnets holding them closed, followed by all of the little muscles in and around your eyes. And this relaxation moves across your entire face. And now that you're connected to that dreamy REM stage subconscious mind, you can engage your guidance, and state your intent, and ask to be taken as deep as you need to go to do the work today. And if you haven't already, now is the time to start coming back in your own time, opening your eyes, feeling refreshed and ready for the day. So those are my tricks for you guys to try at home. And again, this can be supported by the recording if you're interested. And I guess that's it. Thank you. And if anybody's interested, I have coupon codes because I'm just so grateful that people showed up to hear me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was awesome. Do you guys love that? Let's if you would so and their information is right there, and we can put that in the chat as well. But how'd you guys do? I'd be really curious to how you guys did with the or with the experience with the self-hypnosis. Were you guys able to feel like a deeper state of like what brain wave were we achieving there, Erin?
Oh, I think the hopeful would have been in the oh, now you're testing me. I'm like, where's my chart?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
So a little above theta, which I think is your alpha. And
Okay.
yeah, and somewhere in between those. I mean, you never really stay in one specific state. Your mind's going up and down and up and down, except for maybe in those situations when you were in India and you were having surgery. I think you definitely were staying down if you weren't feeling anything. So
That is awesome. Awesome. And then Rose is asking for the information. Maybe could you take your info and put it in the chat for us,
I
Erin?
can.
That
Yep.
would be awesome because there people are looking for that for your information. Would be awesome. So yeah, and you're getting lots of thanks, and that was awesome. Much appreciated, Erin. Bravo, standing ovation, good information, so fantastic. So people loved it. That is super cool, you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And Shagnia says, "Thank you, Erin. That was so informative and beautifully presented. Love the practice of self hypnosis. I totally felt my eyes getting heavy in the last one. I know it was kind of fun because I was looking up and I was feeling. I was like, I was blinking, and Heaven, you're like, and if you're getting blinky, I'm like, yes. Who must have known that? That was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So that was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. And then Leslie felt the energy, no problems. At the last technique, I was so relaxed, I didn't want to come back. I know, right? So it really felt like we were sort of eased into that. So what would you say? So say that we use this technique, we get into that state, and then we say, okay, where do I want to, what is my intention for the session? Give me an example of what an intention for when we're doing self-hypnosis. What might an intention be?
It can be pretty broad. So, not to say, oh, you can't do this without a practitioner. But I don't think I'd go into like a big traumatic thing on your own.
Yes.
But this is great. I would start with something simple like, I want to go to sleep, or I have a headache. When you're asking for pain relief, always be careful to add that caveat of, unless this is a red flag I need to attend to, unless this is something that's supposed to be getting me to a doctor. But if this headache isn't something I need to go to the doctor for, let that go and let me go to sleep. I did a really great self hypnosis, and Jackie's actually on here. I had a session with her, just a trade to see, hey, this is what I do, this is what you do. And she helped me. She brought up that my peaceful place in hypnosis was blocked. There was an unhappy memory there. And I said, oh, okay, well, first of all, I was amazed because I didn't tell anybody about that. So that was amazing. But what do I do? And the answer was, you know what to do. And it's like, oh, I do know what to do. Because when I do hypnosis, I teach people these 3 anchor words to drop down in, and it's really fast. And so I did that, and I was able to resolve this and have this beautiful moment with my dad. And so you can, the more you practice, you can have these really great healing experiences without, I mean, that took 5 minutes when I did that, it's like, and I carry that with me. So even if I go and I'm at my peaceful place and I see that scene outside, now it's a scene of love instead of a scene of not being seen, right? So
Yeah. So, like, in other words, you're saying you could kind of go into this with any sort of like, tell me about, this pain that I'm feeling, or tell me about, like, it could be almost like an inquiry where you kind of open a door and say, I'm struggling with this right now. Why is it that I'm struggling? And then just sit with it and let and see what rises up. Is that what you would suggest?
definitely, that is something that this can help with too. Or I was going through a really difficult time. My daughter was sick and we couldn't figure out what was going on. The doctor couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was just like, I need inspiration of what to do. And I got out of that session and I'm like, castor oil pack, this, that, blah. And so like I'm, you know, setting out orders like an army chief, just, I know all these things that we need to do now. So yeah, you can really just, it's a nice, easy, structured way to connect with your higher mind if you're struggling to do that in a more organic way.
I love it. Almost like getting into a really deep state of meditation, but where you're all of a sudden opened up and can connect and feel that other information and wisdom and stuff come through. Is that how you describe it?
Yes,
That's awesome.
and I'd say it's a little deeper too. And
Yeah.
if you have a busy mind, I have a busy mind. And so having something to do to get me there really helps instead of just trying to be quiet because my brain has a really hard time being quiet.
That is awesome. All right. Well, if anybody has any questions for Erin, just let us know in the chat here. But yeah, it looks like everybody loved it. Oh, and then Henry's asking, does the Roy Hunter book help identify and understand the images that may happen during the happy place time? I love that, the happy place time. That's awesome.
Um, it's been a while since I read the book. Um, I'm guessing the happy place time, I'm thinking of maybe your peaceful place or going back to a happy childhood memory. Um,
He says yes.
okay. So, well, your peaceful place is something that you create all on your own. It's just for you, and it's a safe place to go back to when you're working on intense things. So, if you are in an intense memory and it can get too much, and you don't want to do that. So, you pull back to this peaceful place, you regroup, and then we go back and view it from a different angle, a more objective angle. And and it's all what you want it to be. So it doesn't have to please anyone except for you. It only comforts you. You're the only one there. Um, the happy childhood memory, it can be um, anything. It can be very tiny details of a memory. A lot of the people I work with don't have a lot of happy childhood memories, and they're very skeptical that they're going to find one. I haven't had somebody who hasn't found one. I have had somebody who's gone off planet to find one, but everybody gets there.
I think it would be interesting with the question about like how do you identify and understand the images that happen, that one of the things you could think about doing is that the many of the images that you'll get in term when you're in this kind of subconscious state are going to be the same symbols as what you see in your dreams. So you could take a look at Michael Sheridan's dream dictionary. It's online. So you just type in Aisling, Aisling, Aisling Dream Dictionary. It's the only dream dictionary I would actually recommend. There's many dream dictionaries out there, but they mostly kind of copy one another, and the symbols are not necessarily accurate. And so if you know, if you'll know his are accurate because you'll be able to test them in your own dreams. You'll see that you'll have a dream where it's about one subject, and you'll see three different symbols in the dream that seem unrelated, but they all are three telling you the same thing. So it very quickly reinforces itself. So you can check out his dream dictionary, and those symbols are often so this understanding that for yourself, there may be some things that have a unique meaning for you. So, for example, if you see chicken soup, and chicken soup is always the thing that you had when you aced a test or whatever, then it's going to have a unique meaning for you. But in general, those symbols can be very, very helpful, and you can use them, like I said, for this deep states or for for dreams. Would you add to that, Erin?
Well, the another thing too is the way that I use it is when you're going back to that happy childhood memory, you're grabbing the feelings, the
Yes.
excitement, the love, the joy, and then we're bringing that back to your peaceful place and infusing it with these I mean, the things that I've been able to witness have been beautiful. That it's like this is where I felt accepted. This is where this image was before I had all of my body issues, and that I heard all of the things from society, and this is where I felt accepted and important. And yeah, so we take all of that and infuse that into that peaceful place, so that if you need to get there, that you're greeted with all of these feelings and emotions and sensations. Or if you just want to go there, that's another thing that when after you've established this peaceful place through a session, you can just slip into there anytime you need peace and calming. But I love the idea of identifying the images. I've never really looked at it that way, so that's a new angle. I like that.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. We're always learning.
I know.
Fantastic. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, Erin. That was awesome. I loved it. I feel totally refreshed.
Good. Thank
So,
you.
and I
Thank you for
love that
having me.
practice. I'm going to try that on my own too, and just open up and see where it takes me in that new study. I love the tree metaphor coming out the head.
Mm.
So that felt amazing for me. So thank you so much. And you
Oh, good.
guys, I love this time together. Thank you. We will be back. Wisdom Soup, we always do once a month. It's always on the second Thursday of the month. We usually do it at 10 a.m. Pacific. So I hope you guys can make it next time. We will bring another amazing, awesome speaker or practitioner to share their knowledge with you. So thank you so much, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Erin.
Thank
Bye, you
you.
guys.